Hi, my name is Leandro Facchinetti and let's write some code together, shall we? What we have on the menu today is Notestrator. It's this app that allows you to draw on top of your screen. It's a JavaScript app written in Electron. And what we are going to do today in this app is we're going to test the Windows support, because so far we have been developing this only in macOS, and we'll see how it goes in Windows. And we are going to continue styling the menu. So we have a menu that allows you to change colors and stroke widths and so forth. And currently it is just a bunch of HTML with the default styles, and we want to make the app look good. So we will write some infrastructure to make writing CSS better, and we will style things. So let's start here in macOS. And let's see the current state of the app. So we have here our little menu on the left, and this part is kind of looking okay. The bottom part is looking terrible, and that's what we are going to style. And the intent is that if you have a tablet like this, then you will be able to draw on top of your screen. For instance, here I can draw on top of my Visual Studio Code, and that is useful for educators, for streamers, that sort of thing. So the plan for today is to test this on Windows, make this look good. Okay, so the app is kind of working in macOS, as you can see. And it's even capable of drawing on top of the menu bar, which is something that is not trivial. Now let's see how this behaves on Windows. I have not tested this, so I don't know how this will go, but let's see. So first of all, I will need to install the dependencies, including Electron and everything, and that will take a little bit of time. So while that is happening, I'm going to push my computers around so that I get to work on the Windows computer and I'm not like and while this is installing, I'm going to talk about what we are going to do for the styles, for writing CSS. I was trying to write everything in place. I was writing CSS inline, and I don't think that's going to scale, and I came up with a better approach for writing CSS for other projects. So I thought I would bring into this project the tools that I am developing, and we'll talk about those. It's a tool to allow you to write CSS in your HTML. It's like inline styles, but it allows you to have different modes like hover and active and focus, and it comes with a CSS reset, a design system. It's great. We'll talk about it in a moment. So let's see what we have here on Windows. So if we just run npm start, what happens? Okay, it seems like it took a little bit of time to start, and the menu has a menu. The menu has a menu, which is not what we want, and it's not transparent, and it doesn't seem to draw on top of anything either. So I would say that this is just completely broken. Oh, and it seems like I am able to interact with the app underneath, so it may not even be drawing a window here. It seems like I am interacting with Visual Studio Code underneath, and it doesn't show up here on this part, so it's hard for me to even stop this app from continue running. Okay, I was able to Control C on this window, and I want to terminate this batch job, and I was interacting with Visual Studio Code. You can see that I mangled the text and everything. So let us give this like 5 to 10 minutes. We'll see what we can fix, and otherwise we will continue styling the menu and we'll get back to Windows later. But I suppose that the problem in Windows is some of these options don't make sense in Windows, and it is breaking everything. So the menu seems to kind of work. I was able to interact with pieces of the menu. So how about we play around with these options? I can comment out all of these options and rerun the app. And we'll see if a window comes up and if we can at least draw on the window. Yes, so a window now does come up and we are able to draw on the window and we are able to interact with the menu. Okay, that's cool. So I guess we'll have to go now step by step and see which option doesn't make sense here. Oh, and also this always on top could be screwing things up. So let's see. If I start the app like this, now it does show up here on the, I think it's called the taskbar on Windows. And it says that it's always on top. So if I try to go to Visual Studio Code, it doesn't really let me go there. If I try to open the browser opens, but it's underneath the app. And I'm still able to draw. So all that is kind of okay. We do want the app to be always on top, so that much makes sense. Let's play a little bit with the click-through option. So we have in macOS this ability to say that the app is in drawing mode or it's in click-through mode. And I guess that is working because my cursor is letting me interact with Visual Studio Code underneath. So this is working. If I come back to drawing mode, I'm able to draw again. Yeah, so I guess we'll do some binary search here and see what is messing things up. Okay, looks pretty much the same, except that now it's black. But I'm able to draw. It's not rendering all the menus and everything. It's not showing up in the taskbar anymore. And it's not worse, I suppose. But it's not transparent either, so it's not great. Okay, when I say enable larger than screen, okay, that's still the same, that's fine. So it seems like maybe the problem has to do with minimizable and maximizable. Yeah, when I set minimizable and maximizable, then it becomes kind of white and it is no longer responsive. I can no longer draw. So let's not play with one of these. Is it minimizable or maximizable that screw things up? Okay, I am able to draw. So it seems like the minimizable false breaks things in Windows. And I wonder if the presence of the menu has any effect on this. So how about I don't render the menu at all? Yeah, so I still have the white screen and I'm unable to draw. So the menu is not the problem. The problem really is in how we are building this window. And I guess there is another to-do for us to put here, which is not on the focusable but on transparent, and doesn't or breaks in Windows. But other than that, I am quite surprised that most things are working. It's just the window management that is kind of broken. Also, I think it could be nice for me to say frame false below here, because in macOS there was no embedded menu, but here there is. And then then the menu looks like this, which is nicer. It doesn't have that little menu on the top here. So I guess I want that option because of Windows. Let me put it in the right place. Over here it is right before focusable, so I'll do the same here. Resizable, frame, focusable. But because I did this, I will need something that allows me to click and drag the menu around. Because you may want to have the menu on the screen, and you may want to have draw exactly on this part of the screen. So how about we do a quick search for this, because I remember there is an Electron. I think it's Electron. It may be Chrome. I'm not really sure, but there is this CSS thing that you can apply to an area that makes that area draggable. So I guess I'll search for Electron frame false move window and drag. I'll just throw that keyword there. How do I move a frameless window in Electron? Yeah, that's more or less what I'm looking for. So I guess, yeah, since your windows are frameless, you can use the property WebKit app region. So yeah, I don't know if this is Chrome, if this is, I don't know what this is about, but which is valid even though your IDE says it's not. You just should forbid the text selection and drag on buttons inside of your title bar to out of UX concerns. Okay, so WebKit user select none and app region drag, and then on the buttons that would be in the title bar I would have an app region no drag. Okay, so here are the docs about draggable regions. I guess I can go to Electron js.org, which is where we have been looking at the docs recently, and we can look for frameless. Oh no. Frameless window. Okay, so now that I have here the ultimate source of truth, let us see. Click through window. We are using this to make the window click through, but not the menu. The menu is never click through. Draggable region, there you go. So I guess that is the canonical source of truth for this. So how about we come here to our app, and on the menu we put, before the form, we put a div, and we may say something like Notestrator in that div, and then I guess I can copy and paste this part. Now Notestrator is not showing the cursor that you would usually see, the cursor that represents text selection, and I can click and I can draw, I can click and drag the menu around, but everything else is not draggable, and I can still interact with my buttons. It's just this little area here that is draggable. And I guess we will style this in a better way in the future, but at least the window moves around and we fixed that menu thing, and it should behave the same in macOS, I suppose. So that's all good. Oh, but here is something. The minimizable kind of breaks on Windows, but I guess we need that for macOS, otherwise you would be able to minimize with a keyboard shortcut, and we don't want this to be minimizable, so there is that. So it seems like we solved the dragging thing. Let's see if the docs say anything about this user select none. In a frameless window, the dragging behavior may conflict with selecting text. For example, when you drag the title bar, you may accidentally select the text on the title bar. To prevent this, you need to disable text selection within a draggable region like this. So I guess we will have that line as well. On some platforms, the draggable area will be treated as a non-client frame. So when you right-click on it, a system menu will pop up. To make the context menu behave correctly on all platforms, you should never use a custom context menu on draggable areas. We don't have a custom context menu, so that is okay. And let me try this again and see if it's still draggable. I was kind of on the fence about doing this anyway, just for the styles, because in macOS it was kind of looking weird. I mean, let's return to macOS and I can show you. So it kind of looks weird this way. It's kind of grayed out, and it's not terrible, but it isn't great either. So I was on the fence about doing this draggable area anyway, just to be able to style this. So I'm okay with that. And is there any way for me to make the window transparent on Windows? So let's do a quick search for Electron. Transparent window. Should probably check the docs as well. And I guess I will add Windows to the search. They are just using transparent true. I mean, I don't think I tried the combination of parameters here. We are talking about combinations of parameters here, and it gets complicated. But I remember the docs, we consulted this many episodes ago, and I remember the docs saying that you should have frame, false, transparent, true to make the window transparent. So if I just do this, is the window transparent? No, it is black. So it seems like it is a fundamental problem here. And maybe this would invalidate Notestrator in Windows, or that would be unfortunate. Let's see if they say something about Windows. Oh, transparent windows are not resizable. Setting resizable to true may make, but we are not. We are setting resizable to false. Maybe that's even superfluous. Maybe a transparent window is already resizable false. On Windows operating systems, transparent windows will not work when DWM is disabled. Transparent windows cannot be maximized using the Windows system menu or by double-clicking the title bar. The reasoning behind this can be seen on this pull request. Okay, what is DWM? And this will not work when DWM is disabled, so it will work when DWM is enabled. What is DWM? Dynamic window manager? That is not it. Desktop window manager? Windows DWM. Desktop window manager and how to check if enabled. Okay, someone is saying that I should hit Alt Tab. But, well, how do I tell? I don't know. Someone is when I searched for Windows DWM, how to check if enabled, I found an Electron issue. Maybe because I was searching about Electron stuff before, or maybe because it is something that comes up often. Maybe I should just go to settings and look for DWM, or maybe the control panel, or maybe just here, DWM. Run command. I mean, do I just run this? Does this do anything? No, same behavior. And DWM run as administrator? What does that do? Same thing. Go figure. Yeah, but how do I even know if this is running? Okay, I guess I can try this. I mean, it shouldn't hurt. So let me go to my package.json real quick. Nope, same behavior. And it's not just that the window is not transparent, it's that I cannot draw on it. So it like completely obliterates the screen or the window. Oh, really? Okay, I guess this is a desperate measure, but we will do it. So we add these flags, we come here to main, and we await on new promise resolve set time out of resolve and 5 or maybe 1 second. Let's give it 1 second. No, same behavior. Yeah, that sounded too desperate to work. This is gonna be a tough one. Oh, so that whole discussion of enable transparent visuals and disable GPU is about Linux. Maybe my DWM is disabled because I have never heard of such a thing and I have never enabled it. I'll look more into this later. Let's commit what we have and move on to styling the menu. What do we have here? Just some comments. Frame false. That all makes sense. What do we have here? And that style to make the thing draggable. And what do we have here? Oh, okay. It renamed the app because I changed things in the package JSON and have run npm install on this new machine. So I like everything in here. I'm pushing. Let me close the Windows stuff for a moment and we'll return to macOS. And I said that I was going to do some CSS work here to style the menu. So let's work on that right now. And to begin with, I would like to get the latest changes so I don't work on outdated code, and it is already the latest. Awesome. So now I'm going to install some tools that I have developed, and I have some other videos in this channel in which I talk about this tool. But I will also bring in another one that is still in development. It's not really out yet, so I don't have a video about this, but it's just a design system and a way to reason about writing CSS. Okay, so now that we have these, the main intent of this library is that you are able to write your HTML in JavaScript, which is advantageous because you have JavaScript as in the language, the Node.js part of JavaScript, or I guess in our case the Electron part of JavaScript, is able to create HTML. So we can use all the programming facilities in JavaScript to automate some of the creation of the HTML, but we treat HTML as just a string. So we are not bringing in any sort of React or JSX. If you know those keywords, I'm not bringing those into the project. I'm only bringing this. And I installed stuff, and for whatever reason it's not showing up here. Oh, okay, here it is. And Now let me think. Do I need it? Will I need this in production? I don't think I will. So how about I remove these and install them for development? All right. And I would like, because I said we are using now JavaScript, the language, to produce the HTML, and then we will be able to use JavaScript, concatenate strings in JavaScript to produce the HTML. The problem is that, as far as I can tell, I cannot pass a string here for Electron to interpret as HTML. I either have to pass a file or I have to pass an URL. So I suppose I could try to hack my HTML into some URL format, but that doesn't sound like fun to me. You know what? It may be an interesting exercise. Does that work? Let's see. So how about we don't create any browser window to begin with? So this is an Electron app that doesn't do much, but we will create a remove me variable that is a browser window, and just by doing that, oops. Okay. Just by doing that, I should npm start and I should see a window. Yeah, a window. It doesn't do much, but it's a window. And then in this window, in this remove me window, I can load a file or an URL. And I can use an URL that is a data URL. Let's go to mdn data URIs. I think that's data URLs. There we go. Oh, so here is an example. Ha ha ha! So that does work, and it is kind of crazy, but I guess that will do. Alrighty, so we are going to need to use maybe all the characters that we could use to delimitate strings, so and characters that would be invalid in URL. So can we put a whole app in the URL and just load that? Would that make sense? We'll see. That's crazy. But we can base 64 the thing. So we will need to use weird characters in here, but we could base 64 the whole thing. So we could say something like this. And then in here, we could buffer from, and I guess at this point I would just have some HTML in here. And then I can to string with base 64. So that's a quick and dirty way of converting a string into base 64. It is crazy, but it seems to work. So now let's bring in the other things that I installed, like HTML, which is from my package liafac HTML, and it is just this. It's a tagged template literal that allows you to write HTML like this. That's all there is to this library. But what's cool about it is that when you interpolate stuff, so maybe if you come here and you say something like hello, of course this would be a variable coming from the user somehow, this variable will be interpolated. In fact, I can do something like script, not interpolated, escaped, that's what I mean. It will be escaped correctly. This is safe. See, it was escaped correctly. So that's what this little library does. And now let us write some HTML. Well, what if I just come here to my menu? How about the menu? We start with the menu. I copy this entire file. I paste this entire file over here. There you go. Here is our menu. We are not able to drag it around, but that's okay. Here is our menu. It's crazy. I am putting my whole app in an URL. Is there a size limit to this? I don't think there is. I'm not sure if there is a size limit. If we hit the size limit, then we will rethink how we're doing this. Okay, but by the way, why is this not syntax highlighting? I have an extension that should kick in when you have the HTML tagged template literal, and it should syntax highlight, but it's syntax highlight the thing, but it's not, and I don't know why, but that's just what it is. And I have another library, as I said. It is for CSS. It's still a work in progress. It comes with a design system, and it comes with a function to extract inline styles. So we will be able to use inline styles that have things like media queries. Isn't that crazy? It is like Tailwind in spirit, but it is, I think, simpler and more powerful. But that's just me. I'm the developer behind the thing. So, of course, I think it's awesome. Okay, so we want to extract the inline styles right after we have produced the HTML. Like so. Okay. I suppose that this title is no longer relevant. Well, I suppose that the whole menu file is no longer relevant. I embedded that file here. And then this title is no longer relevant because we are not using the window decoration in macOS to do this part. And yeah, let me just take this whole part, remove these parts, uncomment the bulk of the app, and here on the menu I will paste. So now I'm loading the menu using my crazy trick, and I can start the app. And here is the menu, and it is draggable, and I can draw. This makes me happy. Now let us repeat the trick. So it may make sense for us to extract this part. So how about we have a function here at the bottom. HTML to URL. And here I received the HTML. And then I return that buffer trick and whatnot. So I guess I return everything from here. We may want to embed this as well. Doesn't hurt. And then we'll plot the HTML in there. We'll close all of these. I guess I'll just copy this part. I don't need this last bit. Oh, I do need that last bit. So this does a conversion from HTML to URL, and I'm kind of thinking about maybe this is doing a lot of things, so it should be just called process HTML. I don't know. But now that we have these, we can remove this part and go up there and remove this part, and we can use our new function, the HTML to URL. And now, for whatever reason, the Visual Studio Code extension kicked in, and we have some syntax highlighting. And I don't know why it wasn't kicking in before, and I don't know why it is working now, but it is. The extension is this one, ES6 string HTML. Lots of mysteries. Okay, let's repeat this for the drawing. So now it should not be load file, but it should be load URL. And we should use HTML to URL of some HTML that I want to have on a new line specifically. Sometimes having that in a new line helps the Visual Studio Code extensions and everything. So we can just copy this whole file, paste it over here, and this time it didn't work. That's because there is more code in here, and some of this code is using this escape character. So in many cases it's trivial to change this. We have many of these. Yeah, we don't have many of these. So maybe we will rewrite them so that they are not using the backslashes. I mean, for this one, it's so trivial that I guess we will do that. For this one, it's not as trivial, but it's not the end of the world. Or you know what? For now, we will just hack this together. So we will just replace occurrences of the backtick with the escaped backtick. Now this should get back to a working state. I mean, syntax highlighting is all over the place, but I think it is correct. No, unexpected token. Why? Oh, because that's not how you escape stuff. You need to do 2 backslashes, like so. Nope. How about we just replace this with to do, fix me. Yep. Now this for sure should be valid. It is not. So how about we stop this because it's not going the right direction. Complete failure. Okay, do we still have that drawing file? Yes. Let's commit what we have before we break things further. And you know what? Now that I was thinking ahead when when I installed, so let's go back and undo this commit. Because when I was installing this, I said this is probably a development dependency because I was thinking that I would have to do something like a static website generator and produce HTML files. But then we had this idea of the URL, and then these HTML and CSS stuff actually become production dependencies because we are generating the HTML on the spot. So I need to unstage everything and do this line in reverse because I need to install this as a production dependency, which makes the app bigger. It's kind of bad in many ways, but we'll just go along and we'll see where this takes us. So now the package.json lists this as production dependencies, which is crazy. So let's commit this. And I would really like to understand what's going on with the escapes and everything. So let's experiment. So if I have something like hello and bye, and then I want to put a literal backslash, a literal backtick, I do it like this. And if I want to have two in a row, I do it like that. And that's all fine. That all seems to work. I don't need this title. But why is that not working for us? Let's just copy one snippet. Like this snippet. It is valid HTML if we put it in a script tag. And if we escape things like this, then it works. So in principle, this works. This has a fair chance of actually flying. Okay, so, well, I guess I will just try again. Let's look for backticks and work on them, I guess, on a case-by-case thing. Oh, I think I know what the issue is. I have to escape not only the backticks, but I also have to escape the dollar signs, because the dollar signs need to appear in the text that I am producing. So let's see, if I want to introduce this will fail, but if I put a backslash, then I get that literally. Okay, so now I think I figured the problem. Let's go back to our initial state, nothing in there, copy over, then look for backticks and replace them with backslash backtick. But not that one. And then the replacements that look like this, I want to escape. Here we are. And my prettier thing says that the file is correct, so I should be able to run this. And I am. Look at that, an Electron app, a whole app that is a single JavaScript file. I love this. I will probably regret this, but I love it right now. Okay, so what's the deal with this? Well, it allows us to this package allows us to write HTML here in JavaScript, which is great. But there is also this idea of writing CSS in here in my JavaScript. So it's like the CSS in JavaScript philosophy. It's like the Tailwind philosophy. I very much appreciate this. So let's see all the places where we have styles. We have 16 places where we have styles. And we can replace all these places with... Now, I do want this replacement to occur at this level of the JavaScript that is producing the HTML. So I want to have it like this. And then I copy this into here. And this CSS tagged template literal is just here to hint at Prettier that this is CSS. So it will format everything correctly. But this is just producing a string. So this doesn't have any special effect on the thing. I mentioned before how this interpolation has special effect because this tagged template literal will escape things, but this will not do any work actually. It just exists to hint at Prettier that this is CSS, and it concatenates strings without any escaping. So I learned recently that there is this other property in CSS, another declaration in CSS. It's called, it replaces these 4 lines. It's called inset 0, so like this. So let's comment out the whole thing and you'll see why that declaration, the top, right, bottom, and left was important. We are drawing on top of the thing, but our SVG does not occupy the whole screen, or does it? It seems like it does, so maybe that wasn't necessary to begin with. Oh, because we have width and height. And we needed that, otherwise the window would scroll. But it's not scrolling now, so it seems okay. But what if I take this out? Then it shouldn't let me draw on top of the whole screen. Yeah. I can only draw on this left, in this upper left corner. But I can say inset of 0. And it doesn't work. That's okay. I guess I will just go back to maybe this version. That seems to be the more correct version. But it doesn't work. Do I need to have a position relative here? Well, it should be the default to be relative to the body. No, it seems like the SVG is kind of special and it does need the width of 100 viewports and the height of 100 viewports, like this. Do I really need to position this absolutely? I do, otherwise there is a bit of a scroll. Or I guess I could say overflow hidden. That will prevent scroll. Oh, but on the top left, it messes up on the rounded corner of the window. There is, and there is still a scroll, so we'll continue with position absolute. So the scroll is gone, but it's interesting that on the corners I cannot draw. Let's go to the Electron docs. Rounded corners. I do want rounded corners on the menu, but I don't want rounded corners on this one. So I guess I'll put it over here in the drawing window. Yep, that seems to fix that issue. What else do we have going on? Let's move on to the next style. What do we have here? So that style is generated dynamically when you draw something and you are in this special mode in which your drawing will fade. So there is this fade mode. You draw and the drawing fades. Well, it doesn't really work right now because the menu is broken. It appears. But it fades away, and that is kind of a special style, so I don't think I'm going to touch this. Yeah, I'll leave this for later. Then this, well, I guess I am now on the menu. And this can go out because my Liafax CSS comes with a CSS reset that does this for me. And this is super important. It's what makes the window draggable. Draggable, not draggable, draggable. Excellent. Next we have this style over here, which is the style for the color selectors. I guess what we would like here is probably for the whole body to have a background color. Yeah, we'll do that. So let's have a style here of background color. And I said that we had a design system that comes with Liafax CSS. It is based on CSS variables, or the so-called custom properties. And I can maybe go to my docs, or really the source for this, and you'll see all the colors I have available to me. I have plenty of colors. It's the color scheme that comes with the default theme in Tailwind. And which kind of gray do you want? Do you want to use a blue gray, a cool gray, a medium gray, a true gray, or a warm gray? Let's play with the warm gray and see how that works for us. And then where do we have a background color? Over here, we'll remove that. Okay, that seems to match the vibe of the gray that we have in Visual Studio Code, and it also seems to match the vibe of the gray that we have over here in Safari. So I suppose that is that's going to be our gray, a warm gray. So anytime we need a gray, we'll go to gray warm. I guess we'll also have color, which will be like 800, maybe 700. And then this are faded a little bit. Guess we need a bit stronger of a color on this. That seems good. And how about we start introducing some dark mode situation here as well? So media, and this is where Liafac CSS comes in. I am writing inline styles, but I'm capable of using media queries. Prefers color scheme dark. So when I'm in dark mode, I will still use warm, but I will say that the background is now like a 900, and the color will be like 100. And I start the app. Let me go to click-through mode. Oh, I cannot. So I cannot change the app in real time, but I can come here to the settings, change me to dark mode, and restart the app. And there you go. Now it is dark. And this kind of matches the vibe of the dark mode here in Visual Studio Code, and it also matches nicely what we have over here. It's kind of a warmish gray. Looks good to me. What we have next over here, I guess I will put it like this, and I prefer light mode. So let's see, we have display flex, flex direction column, a gap of, now we have a design system, so I guess I will have a gap of space 4 and height of these, which makes absolutely no sense now. I guess that was there for the background color, but we don't need that. Now over here is the color selector. So here we have display flex, a gap of that, wrap around, a padding of that, and justify content center. Excellent. Now we have our colors here, and we selected the colors from Tailwind. So here is where we can leverage Liafac HTML to write our all this repetition we can condense in a loop. And we'll have a loop, and we'll say map color, and we will return, say, some HTML that reads just like this, except that let's see, so all of this makes sense. The value here and the background color there will be the color. And over here we are writing some CSS. And then we can remove this, all that we can remove. Oh, but only the first one needs to be checked. So I'll have here the index as well. And I will say, is the index equal to 0? If so, this is checked, otherwise it is not checked. So let me see. Type radio, name color, value, checked or not, class of color, and a style over here. So why? So let's take advantage of this framework again. And here we have some CSS for the color, but it's way removed from where we actually use it. So how about we bring these styles into here? We don't need this class color anymore, and we can bring all of this down. And over here, we can just say that we want this when it's checked, because we are using Liafac CSS, so we can do that. But we don't have any of the colors here. I removed that. Well, let me go back here, and I remember that the way we did this was we had black and white. Should probably have done this should not have removed the whole thing before I did this, but that's okay. So we have black and white. And then I think we were using the 600s. And I remember that we took one and skipped the next. And then we took one and skipped the next. So I guess I'm going to do it like this. I'm going to copy the whole section over here. There it is. Lovely. Let me use CSS mode, and I'll put the whole thing in root, just so syntax highlighting and everything else works. Now I will as I will select, can I do a block selection and then use Command D to repeat the block selection? No. Should I use a regular expression for this? Yeah, I guess using a regular expression for this will be great. So I'll just save this file as remove CSS, and I will grab for 600 in remove CSS. And then I will paste this here again, and then I will do some rectangular selection. I will grab every one of these guys. Here are all our 600s. Let me save these. I will duplicate this, and I think that we want to have 10 colors, I suppose, because they map to the numbers 1 to 0 in the keyboard. I mean 1 to 0, like this row. So we already have black and white, so we will want to have 8 colors. Oh, and I don't think we use pure black and pure white. Let's use our warm gray. So it is gray, warm, and this one will be dark, so 900, and this will be light, so 50. And then over here, we'll take one, skip the next. Like this, and then do we end up with eight? I don't think we end up with 8. We end up with 9. So we have to remove one, and I don't remember which one we removed. So let me come back here, do another one of these block selections, and just like that we have something we can paste here. And here are our dynamically generated, our lovely colors. Oh, it seems like it's not working, is it? The problem is this. This is missing variable stuff. So here are our lovely colors, and we can still draw using them and everything. That's excellent. But we have more colors than we want. So I need to drop one. Which colors are too similar to be worth having? I guess it's between the greens here. We have 3 greens. So how about we drop the middle green? So it's like lime. Where is our green? Oh, I already removed the green. So I guess it's amber, emerald, and teal, and I guess I want to remove that one. So now it looks like this. Yeah, these greens are different enough. These are blues. Yeah, all right. I am happy with this. see, I just collapsed a lot of code using this. Awesome. Now let me go over this CSS over here. So we have a background color, a width, and a height, and we have a design system now. So I can use, it will probably be like a font size kind of thing, and let's say that it is large. Now for border radius, I have a circle border radius, appearance none. That's because this is a radio button. Display grid, that's because I want to center stuff. And then a box shadow. Well, I would try to not use the box shadow, and let's see how this looks. The biggest problem is the gray, and this white doesn't really work. The size is kind of too small, so maybe we'll have like an extra large here. Maybe we'll have like a 2 extra large here. Yeah, that seems okay. But this white doesn't really work. But you know what we could have? We could have just a slightly darker border around these colors. Maybe that will work. But before I continue just messing around with this, I will commit. Oh no, what did I do? Did I save this file? I don't want this file. Remove that file. Yeah, let's undo the last commit. Where was I? I was talking about this color, so I could try to make them slightly darker and put a border around them. Yeah, let's try this. So the way I'm gonna do it is everywhere where I'm using the color, so here and here, I will. Well, the problem is that these two are exceptions, are they? So how is that going to look? I don't know. Let's see how the others look and see if we like. So how about we just take all of these out and all of that out as well. And then when we have a background color, we can say that, and we are using 600. Same for this part for that matter, but I will not touch it right now. And then let's have a border of 1 pixel, which is solid, and it is at 800. That doesn't look too nice. Maybe 2 and 700. No. No, definitely not. Maybe lighter. No. Maybe 1 pixel and lighter. No. So yeah, putting a border around this will not work. So instead, I guess, well, I'll just resort to shadows. And I have some box shadows here. Yeah, so all I have to say is box shadow var box shadow, and I guess it will be like a medium box shadow. Yeah, now the white pops out. Do I want to go large? No, large is too blurry. Do I want to go base? Base sounds okay. Base is not bad. The white does pop. Just this lightest. But no, I think I prefer medium. No, I prefer base actually. I'll go with base. Okay, so the box shadow is base, and then we need to do something to say that this is selected. Right, because I can draw and I need to say which color is selected. But I will not do this right now because I have another idea. I think that maybe we should have all of these in sequence and have the keyboard shortcut representing them to the right. Then that kind of becomes too long, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah. So I guess I will transition. I will want to transition both the transform as well as the box shadow. So I guess I will use this. So transition property, that. Transition duration. How about 150? And transition is, yeah, timing function. So let's do a in and out. And when it is checked, I will scale this up by 50%, I suppose. And I will also change the box shadow to be large, so it appears to pop off. Maybe 1.5 is too much. Let's go 125. Yeah, the problem with this is that when you are selecting, you see the animation and everything, but when they are just like these, it's kind of hard to tell which one is the biggest, so I guess I need 150 there. And now it really is clear what is going on there. Okay. You know what? I think that we need not only the color, but also we need a foreground color. Not only the background color, we also need a foreground color, because I will want to say what is the keyboard shortcut for all these colors. And I suppose that the nicest way to do this is to have it as a color here on top. So I will take all of these and I will say that they are the background color, and I will copy all of these and I will say that this is the color, or actually I probably want this the other way around, so I'll do it like this. And then all these 600s will become 900s, and this I will invert like so. And then of course here I have both the color and the background color, and I will want these to be the background color, and I will want this to be the color. Let me put some spaces over here. I guess I will also probably need the keyboard shortcut. Oh no. Ah, damn it. And this I will have to do by hand. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or better yet, what if I just use the index? Isn't that a smart idea? It happens to work in this specific scenario. Oh, not with the number 10, however. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Better be explicit. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 0. And then some of these styles that we use for positioning stuff, we will want to put on the label, I suppose. Yeah. And here we will want to print the shortcut. I guess now that I have all these things, it doesn't hurt to say default true. And then I can, instead of using the index, I can say default and default, or maybe not default, but maybe is default. If it is default, then checked, otherwise not. There you go. So let's see, some of these, or maybe most of these, we will want to move to the label. Yeah. Let's figure this out and then we'll wrap it up. So the checked thing is on the input, and I don't have access to that on the label. but I will want to transform the whole circle. So we will not have styles on the label. We will have a spam, and we will add styles over here. And we will not will not render this radio button at all. By default, in my Liafax CSS reset, it tells the radio buttons to just not render. That's why we run the app and we don't see any radio buttons on any of the other options anymore. So let me think. We have here radio, color, value, and that. Checked the stuff. And then we have this. So this spam will have all the options. This input will be hidden, but because we have a label around it, the spam will act as the label for the input, and we'll be able to click on the label and let me think. So we have color, background color, width, height, border, radius, appearance, none. We don't need that here. Display grid. I don't think we need that either. And then the box shadow, the transition stuff. Let's see how this looks. Alright, it looks like crap. Probably because the spam is an inline element. Let's use div instead. Yeah, that looks better, but can I have a div within a label? Yeah, I suppose I can. Or is the markup for that messed up? Because you cannot have like a div within a paragraph, right? So let me write a test real quick. The way I can test this is I can have an index HTML file in which I'll have some HTML5 stuff, and in here I'll have a label and a div, and I will open that in a browser and I will inspect. Yes, the div is in the label, so that is what I want. Alright, so it's also looking okay. Of course, we want the numbers to be centered, so let's see if we can do that real quick by saying display flex, and then we want to justify content to the center and align items to the center as well. There you go, the numbers are centered. Let me go to the font is not awesome, so let's go to the body and say that the font family is font family sans serif, which is the system font. It is not great, but it's not the worst. Probably what would make it better is if we set a font size of small. Now it's looking okay. You know what? I don't think I want the number to grow with the circle. But to do that is not trivial. Because I am scaling the circle so it doesn't reflow in any way. Let me commit this. The spaces are too big. They make the spaces smaller. What is making the space too big? Yeah, this area is wide, so this click area is wide. So there is something weird going on. Maybe I should have something like a Is this the problem? Yep, that was the problem. So it was rendering the label, the input. Okay, I will commit what I have and I will try to fix the issue of the numbers growing, and then I will wrap it up. How do I do that? What if I have a div over here that will be my circle, and this div over here will play a nice trick of display grid, and then in this every element will be in the grid area 1 1, so all the items overlap. Also, I don't think I need this anymore, and some of these properties don't make sense here, so I guess I will have maybe a span here just so I can set the color. Now this selector needs to be checked, and then right after there will be a div, and then I am in there. And then there is some property that I forget. I always go to the CSS tricks page for grid, and I think it's like place. Yeah, place. What is it? Place items. Yep, place items center. Okay, the number is not growing, but it's acting weird. Maybe when I use transform to scale, maybe the number is below. So what if I say position relative? Maybe on all of them. Yeah. I don't like how I can select this. And I'm not in love with how this looks. Maybe the numbers should be on the side. And maybe we should have like a border bottom to indicate the selected one. Maybe, we'll see. Also, the animation seems kind of laggy. Is it because I am animating the box shadow? Should I maybe use something like what is it called? Wheel change, wheel transform, something like that. And I don't know why I'm using a spam here. It should be a div. Everything else is a div. I am wrapping up. Yep. So tomorrow I will not be streaming over here. I will be at IDQD's Sounds channel, and we will be working on Reaper. We will be starting a new script, or maybe writing some JS effects. I don't really know what we are gonna do, but check out IDQD's Sound, and thank you all for being here, for subscribing to the channel, for supporting me on PayPal and Patreon. I see you back here on Wednesday, 2 days from now. I see you back here on Wednesday when we will continue styling the menu and continue working on Notestrator. I hope you liked this. I hope you had fun. Enjoy. I see you tomorrow over at IDQD.